The miracle you have prayed for so long is drawing near. But before you receive it, I want you to understand that what is sacred is never withheld simply because you were a few seconds late or did not react quickly enough to an urgent message. My beloved child, Michael, I'm calling you to pause, not to make you fear that your blessing will be withdrawn, but to help you recognize the deeper meaning hidden within what you have been waiting for. Some gifts arrive not only to change your circumstances, but also to transform the way you see yourself, the way you walk, and the way you care for what is entrusted to you. If you desire only for a door to open while still carrying the habits that once caused you to lose direction, you may enter a new season with the same mindset that made the old one so heavy. Therefore, breathe slowly. Allow your heart to become quiet. And do not chase a sense of urgency. What truly belongs to you does not need fear to keep you near. It will be recognized through clarity, peace, and an invitation to mature. Today, you may have felt an unusual prompting, as though something were gently knocking at the door within you. That feeling does not necessarily mean a mysterious event is unfolding in some distant realm. It may simply be the deepest part of you, reminding you that the time has come to stop living as someone who always needs permission from others. You have delayed a decision, held back words that needed to be spoken, or remained in a situation because you feared that change would leave you alone. Yet today's prompting is inviting you to look at what has been clear for a long time, a relationship that no longer offers respect, a habit that is slowly draining you, or a plan you know you should begin but have continued postponing because of fear. A miracle does not always begin with light descending from above. Sometimes it begins in the moment when you become honest enough to admit that you cannot continue living as you have. When I say that you have endured enough, I do not mean that suffering was the price you were required to pay for a reward. I do not want you to believe that the more deeply you are wounded, the more worthy you become of blessing. What I want you to understand is that difficult days taught you discernment, patience, and the ability to rise after falling. You gave without being met in return, trusted and were disappointed, and worked quietly while no one noticed. Yet through all of it, you did not completely lose your kindness. You may have become tired and may even have closed your heart for a time. But a seed of hope still remained within you. That seed is awakening now, not so that you continue enduring, but so that you can learn to receive what is good without apologizing for being at peace. The hidden message within this gift is not a code you must discover before time runs out. It is a simple but profound reminder. You must become someone capable of preserving what you have asked for. If you desire provision, learn how to manage what is already in your hands. If you desire a healthy relationship, stop opening the door to people who continually cross your boundaries. If you desire a new opportunity, prepare your abilities so that when it arrives, you do not withdraw because you believe you are not good enough. A blessing is not merely something that falls into your hands. It is a responsibility that requires maturity, gratitude, and honesty. A great door may open, but if you continue carrying old fear, you may stand before it and be too afraid to enter. Therefore, I am not preparing only your circumstances. I am also preparing you. Do not believe that you must perform an action on a screen in order to be acknowledged by heaven. You do not need to leave a comment, press a button, or prove through outward signs that you are listening. What I see are the choices you make when no one is watching. Do you keep the promises you make to yourself? Do you know how to pause before making an impulsive decision? Are you courageous enough to leave the place that continually makes you smaller? Are you willing to ask for help instead of pretending that you can carry everything alone? These things reveal your readiness. A genuine response is not contained within a few seconds. It is shown through the way you choose to live from this day forward. Perhaps you once felt that heaven had been silent for too long. You prayed, waited, and wondered whether your words had been heard. But silence is not always rejection. There are seasons when you need distance from noise so that you can recognize your true motives. Do you desire something because it genuinely fits your life? Or because you want to use it to prove your value to those who once looked down on you? Do you want abundance in order to build? Or only to fill an emptiness that worldly recognition has never been able to heal? When you answer these questions honestly, you will recognize that the greatest gift is not only what you receive, but also your freedom from the need to prove yourself to anyone. I also want you to understand that not every intense feeling is guidance. Sometimes your heart beats quickly because of hope, but at other times because of anxiety, lack of sleep, or too much pressure. Do not turn every sensation into a sign that causes confusion. Observe your actual life. Rest when your body is tired. Speak with someone trustworthy when your heart becomes heavy. Verify promises before placing your trust in them. Guidance from light does not separate you from wisdom. It makes you more discerning. What is genuine does not force you to act in panic, ask you to transfer money, provide private information, or hide something from the people who could protect you. A true blessing always leaves room for calmness and careful judgment. My beloved child, if a door is opening, approach it with gratitude, but do not abandon awareness. If an opportunity appears, understand it clearly before agreeing. If someone arrives with beautiful promises, observe whether their actions remain consistent. If you feel called to change, begin with one practical step instead of waiting only for emotion. Put your living space in order. Complete what remains unfinished. Review your financial plan. Rest at the proper time, and protect the quiet spaces you need. These ordinary actions may be the very way you prepare for something extraordinary. Heaven does not work only in spectacular moments. Sacred preparation is also built through daily discipline, through the way you care for small things, and through your faithfulness to what is right. What you prayed for may arrive in a different form than you expected. It may be a new door, but it may also be the strength to close an old one. It may be financial provision, but it may also be the wisdom to stop losing resources. It may be a companion, but it may also be the courage to walk alone for a season. Do not confine the miracle to a single image. When you become too attached to the form it must take, you may overlook the answer already standing before you. Keep your heart open and allow what is good to arrive in a way that produces order, dignity, and life. I am not standing beside a scroll to see whether you open it at the correct moment. I stand near to remind you that your name has not been forgotten, but your future still requires your cooperation. No one can live, choose, or mature in your place. What has been prepared becomes complete only when you walk into it with your own feet. Therefore, stop delaying what you already know must be done. But do not run in fear. Move one step at a time, clearly and uprightly. You do not need to fight for what belongs to you in panic. You only need to remain awake enough not to turn away from it yourself. Today, the hidden message has been placed in your hands in the simplest way. You are allowed to hope again, but hope with maturity. You are allowed to receive, but receive responsibly. You are allowed to believe that a new season is coming, but prepare through action rather than desire alone. Your miracle does not fade after a few seconds, nor is it withdrawn because of one moment of hesitation. What can cause you to miss it is continuing to refuse to move after the road has already become clear. I, Michael, remain here to remind you that peace is not evidence that you have stopped fighting. It is evidence that you have learned not to fight against yourself. Open your heart, put your life in order, and move forward with clarity. When what is meant for you appears, you will recognize it not through threats, but through the deep awareness that at last, what is outside you and the person you are becoming have met at the right time. My beloved child, I have not stepped into your life to destroy your comfort. I have stepped in because your present direction is quietly carrying you away from the person you were called to become. I do not need to interrupt someone who is walking the right road in peace and clarity. But when I see you moving quickly without recognizing where you are going, I must place a pause before you. You have lived responsibly, completed your work, cared for others, and tried to ensure that nothing was neglected. From the outside, you still appear to be progressing, yet somewhere deep within, you know that this movement no longer carries the meaning it once did. You accomplish more but feel emptier. You complete more tasks but do not feel closer to what truly matters. Therefore, I slowed your pace before momentum carried you too far from your original calling. This is why the interruption feels so personal. It does not touch only your schedule, it touches the way you have been living. It causes plans that once seemed certain to feel heavy. It makes tasks that once excited you no longer produce peace. At times, you may have wondered what you did wrong, but I have not come to condemn you. You did not intentionally turn away from light. You simply allowed noise to cover the inner voice for too long. You listened to every demand, expectation, and pressure, but forgot to ask what your own heart needed. You answered everyone else, yet no longer had enough silence to hear yourself. Therefore, I placed an interruption in your path, not to make you fail, but to help you remember what you are living for. The restlessness that has appeared recently is not necessarily ingratitude. It does not mean that you have become weak or unstable. It may be a signal that everything outside is still functioning while the deepest part of you no longer agrees. You tried to explain it through exhaustion, work pressure, changing circumstances, or another person's attitude. These things may be real, but they are not the entire answer. There is something simpler that you have avoided facing. You are being distracted from what matters most. You are not rushing toward obvious destruction. You are drifting through things that appear harmless. Quiet distraction can hold a person longer than open danger because it does not look frightening. It simply keeps you so busy that you no longer have time to notice that you are losing direction. You can awaken, complete every obligation, and go to sleep without feeling that you truly lived. One day follows another through lists of tasks, conversations requiring responses, and responsibilities that never end. You tell yourself that when life becomes less busy, you will return to what you love. When everyone else is stable, you will take care of yourself. When the pressure passes, you will pray, reflect, and listen. But, my beloved child, busyness rarely gives up its space willingly. If you do not intentionally restore order, urgent things will continue consuming what is important. Therefore, I did not wait for your schedule to become lighter on its own. I led you to a moment when truth became difficult to ignore. Understand that I am not telling you to abandon every responsibility or leave practical life in search of a spiritual feeling. I want you to restore meaning to what you do. Work can remain demanding without consuming all your life. Responsibility may be heavy without erasing your identity. You can help others without becoming the person responsible for solving every one of their problems. You can progress without running until you collapse. What I am adjusting is not only your workload, but the order of what you have placed at the center. When recognition, productivity, or the need to please others becomes the force steering your life, you will soon lose yourself even while receiving praise. I am calling you back to listening. Not listening to voices that make you fear that missing one message will cost you a blessing. Genuine guidance does not depend on turning on notifications, subscribing to a channel, or typing a sentence beneath a screen. No button can replace obedience expressed through life. If you want to say that you are listening, prove it by creating quiet space each day. Put down your phone. Stop chasing every invitation. And ask honestly what is draining you. Recognize what is truly your responsibility and what you have carried only because you feared disappointing someone. Your answer does not need to be seen by a crowd. It needs to be expressed through your choices. Some doors do not open merely because you hear more encouraging words. They open when you become courageous enough to do what you already know is necessary. You may need to say no after delaying for too long. You may need to stop a habit that consumes all your focus. You may need to withdraw from a commitment that no longer fits. Rearrange your finances. Rest properly. Or seek help, rather than continuing to pretend that you can manage everything alone. Realignment does not happen through a few minutes of emotion. It is built through small but consistent decisions. Each time you choose what matters over what merely creates noise, you are returning your life to its proper center. I know that you may fear falling behind if you slow down. You look at others moving quickly and believe that you are not allowed to rest. But not every speed leads to the right destination. Some people run a great distance only to discover that they were moving in the wrong direction. Wisdom does not ask only how fast you can move. It asks what kind of person the road is making you. If success makes you unable to rest, unable to be present with those you love, and constantly anxious, then you need to examine the price you are paying. I am not opposed to progress. I simply do not want you to call an exhausted life success. The present pause is an opportunity to see more clearly, not a sentence that will keep you still forever. I am helping you distinguish what must continue from what must be released. Some things still belong to you but need to be carried in a healthier way. Some relationships deserve protection but require clear boundaries. Other things have completed their purpose. Yet you continue dragging them because you fear the emptiness that will follow. You do not need to keep everything merely because you invested time in it. Time already given is not a reason to lose even more. When a road no longer leads toward life, turning back is not failure. It is awareness. Do not fight restlessness merely by making yourself busier. Distraction may temporarily quiet the call, but it cannot make it disappear. Each time you fill silence with screens, work, or unnecessary conversation, the deepest part of you continues waiting. I do not want you to fear silence. In silence, you may encounter the questions you have avoided, but you may also find the clarity needed to answer them. You will recognize that you do not need another strange sign. You need only to become honest about what you have known for a long time. If you are hearing me now, let the words "I am listening" be written through action. Listen when your body tells you that you are overloaded. Listen when peace disappears each time you enter a particular environment. Listen when your heart continually reminds you that something no longer fits. But also test what you feel through facts, time, and wise counsel. I do not want you making major decisions in an emotional moment. Mature listening always walks with calmness, responsibility, and patience. My beloved child, I interrupted your rhythm because I do not want you to lose yourself among things that appear important. This is not punishment, but mercy pulling you back before emptiness becomes deeper. See this pause as a door, not a wall. It gives you the opportunity to rearrange your direction, choose what is worthy, and restore meaning to every step. You do not need to leave everything in one day. But you must stop pretending that everything is fine when you already know something needs to change. From today onward, move more slowly, but with purpose. Do not allow noise to determine the value of your day. Give the best part of yourself to what truly nourishes your purpose, not only to what shouts the loudest. I am not bringing you out of distraction so that you become passive. I am returning you to the place where every action can have a clear direction. When you restore order, peace will return. Your mind will become clearer, and suitable doors will gradually appear. You have not been left behind. You are simply being stopped long enough to prevent you from moving farther away from where you truly belong. My beloved child, today is a milestone for confronting what belongs to the past and is still trying to hold you back, while choosing the new path opening before you. Some days pass like all others, but other days make you realize that you cannot continue living through the same patterns. Something you avoided, an unnamed wound, a relationship that ended but still affects you, or a fear hidden beneath a strong appearance may be returning to your thoughts. It has not appeared to defeat you, but to be seen, understood correctly, and finally released. What remains unhealed often attempts to repeat itself in another form until you become courageous enough to stop running and say, "This no longer has the right to decide my future." I, Michael, want you to know that before a cycle breaks, it often becomes more visible. An old memory may suddenly return. Someone who once hurt you may appear in a dream or thought. A new circumstance may feel almost identical to something you experienced before. Do not immediately assume that you are being dragged backward or that all your healing has become meaningless. Sometimes the old rises not to live again, but so that you can recognize how different you have become. In the past, you may have reacted with panic, tried desperately to keep someone from leaving, or sacrificed your peace to avoid rejection. Today, you can pause, observe, and choose with wisdom. I see you standing near an important transition. But what matters is not only the door ahead. I also see old habits whispering that you should return to what is familiar, even though it once depleted you. The past does not always pull you back through something frightening. Sometimes it returns as a gentle invitation, an apology without change, or an attractive opportunity carrying the same warning signs as what once hurt you. Therefore, you must distinguish what is familiar from what is safe. Not everyone who once knew you has the right to enter your new season. Not every door that reopens is one you should walk through. I am not saying this to make you suspicious of everyone. Discernment does not turn you into someone who searches for harmful motives in every glance. It helps you look calmly at the consistency between words and actions. If someone claims to love you but continually violates your boundaries, observe the behavior rather than listening only to the promise. If an opportunity requires you to betray your values, hide the truth, or decide in panic, you have the right to step back. If a relationship helps you grow, respects your peace, and allows you to live honestly, value it. You do not need to guess what others are thinking. You need only to observe what they consistently choose over time. Perhaps recently you have felt more sensitive when entering a room, speaking with someone, or considering a decision you postponed. Listen to that feeling, but do not treat it as final proof. Uneasiness may remind you to slow down, ask questions, and investigate more carefully. It does not give you permission to accuse someone without evidence. I want you to combine sensitivity with truth, intuition with observation, and peace with responsibility. What is genuine is not afraid of examination. When you are uncertain, give yourself more time. Seek counsel from someone trustworthy, and avoid making decisions while exhausted or emotionally overwhelmed. You once asked for a sign telling you whether to remain or leave. Move forward or continue waiting. Yet confirmation often does not arrive through a dramatic event. It may already be present in what you know, but have not wanted to admit. You know where you repeatedly lose peace. You know which conversation always ends with you blaming yourself. You know which opportunity continually requires you to sacrifice something important. You also know who has remained patient, respected your boundaries, and never required you to become smaller in order to be loved. The confirmation you seek may have been present in the fruit of each choice, but you were once too afraid to accept the answer. The crossroads before you is not a battle between two worlds fighting to control you. It is a choice between old patterns and a more mature way of living. One part of you wants to return to what is familiar because it is predictable. Another part understands that the time has come to move forward, even though the whole road is not visible. Do not fear this inner struggle. Every season of growth contains a transition in which you both grieve what was lost and long for what is new. Allow yourself to mourn what needs to end. But do not use grief as a reason to return to the place that repeatedly proved it no longer fits. Changing dreams, stronger emotions, or increased sensitivity do not necessarily indicate a mystical revelation. Sometimes they are the mind's way of processing stress, memory, and unresolved decisions. Receive them with curiosity but without panic. Write down what you remember. Notice which themes continually return, and ask what need or fear they may be reflecting. If the emotions become overwhelming, interfere with sleep, or make ordinary life difficult, seek support from someone trustworthy or a qualified professional. Proper care does not oppose faith. It can become part of the path that restores balance. What is meant for you does not need to be built upon mystery or the belief that you alone have been specially chosen. Every person has a journey, and your value does not come from being more special than others. What is being formed within you is the ability to live honestly. Accept responsibility and stop allowing fear to lead you. This is the powerful movement. When you stop asking permission from people who once dismissed you before moving forward, when you stop waiting for someone else to change before allowing yourself to have peace, when you choose what is healthy, even though it feels unfamiliar. Some truths may soon become clearer, but you do not need to force everything into the light immediately. Genuine motives often reveal themselves over time. An insincere person will struggle to remain consistent. An unsuitable door will repeatedly require you to ignore warning signs. A healthy relationship will make room for questions. Respect and shared responsibility. Allow time to do its work. You are not responsible for exposing everyone. Your responsibility is to protect your life. State boundaries clearly and leave when the truth has become clear enough. Remember also that not every delay comes from outside interference. Some things slow down because you need more preparation. Some decisions are delayed because you have not gathered enough information. Some doors do not open because they were never meant for you. Instead of searching for a hidden enemy that is blocking you, ask what practical step you can take today. Do you need to strengthen a skill? Resolve a responsibility? Have an important conversation? Or release a connection whose season has ended? Clarity must lead toward responsible action, not only into speculation that cannot be verified. My beloved child, I am beside you, not to make you dependent upon a message, but to remind you to trust the maturity built through everything you have experienced. You do not need to stay because you fear missing a final secret. What you need to understand has already appeared. The past cannot be changed, but its power over the present can end. You do not need to know exactly what will happen in order to take the next right step. Speak truthfully with yourself. Respect what can be verified. And do not allow a temporary emotion to decide your entire future. Today can become a milestone, not because an invisible clock is counting down, but because you choose not to extend what has kept you trapped. End one cycle through a specific action. Delete the message you keep rereading only to hurt yourself. Stop seeking recognition from someone incapable of giving it. Complete a task you postponed because you feared failure. State a necessary boundary or seek help for pain you have hidden too long. Each action becomes a way of stepping out of the old timeline. I, Michael, will remind you to hold the sword of discernment. But this sword is not used to attack another person. It is used to cut through the lie that you must repeat the past, that you cannot change, or that you deserve only what once wounded you. Move forward calmly, not suspiciously, courageously, not recklessly, openly, but always with boundaries. What is new does not require you to become a stranger to yourself. It asks only that you remain faithful to the truth that has grown within you and stop turning away from what you know is right.